You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. I tell you, I always believe that nothing happens by accident. Everything that we go through our lives, our journeys, somehow we're all interconnected in some ways. Even when you think, why? Well, I came to America not by accident, for sure. It was a desire I had since I was a child, but then a series of circumstances made it happen. But also when I came here, I was just a regular guy, think about it, coming from Italy. Yes, I had my own already ideas about what government can do to you, especially an uncontrolled government, also what socialism does to you. And even if I was born in a socialist concept country, my DNA never really somehow responded to that type of brainwashing. But I came here, I had no idea really about what comes down to New World Order, global government, and all these things that we are facing today in 2019 is pretty much in plain view. But when I came here 20 years ago, 1998, barely, I could speak English. In not even a couple of years I was already in the country, I was able to somehow start to have a crash course, or at least a beginning, because this is a journey never ends, the learning process. What really means now, what really is America, what has become America, more important, what is becoming this world, and what type of threat we are facing under the New World Order. One of the people that really influenced me and gave me the opportunity to learn something that I thought, what the hell is he talking about? One was Michael New's story. Private Michael New. And then another person that really caught my attention was Mark Koernke. Yes, I already had him on my show a few times, several times. I never met him in person, but I really appreciate his inspiration. I appreciate his information that 20 years ago when he had this VHS going around, and barely on the internet you could find on YouTube, it was kind of really, probably, I say, avant-garde. Now, unfortunately, most of the things, I say almost everything is being preaching, are real. And you can see it with your own eyes. So I like to always have him here. He's a man that has a lot of experience with a lot of hardship. And I really want to analyze a little bit what's going on according to his mind in America right now, because we're facing a lot of different threats. Mark Koernke, are you there from Michigan?
Well, yes, I am, Luca. Thank you for having me up on the air here. I appreciate it.
Very good, my friend. At least, as I said, we all inspire each other some way, but for sure, one of the reasons why I decided to be on the air with my humble show is because, I said, this is not about a show. This is not entertainment. This is about trying to wake up our fellow Americans in this case, and also people around the world who love freedom, about what we're facing with this New World Order. You've been a kind of, a prophet in this way, in my opinion, here in America. Now, we are facing the last few weeks, I said the last 2 years, something that for me is disturbing. The fact now that we're supposed to have a president that has all the evidence in front of us, and him, of course, that there's been for sure some criminal acts by people like Hillary Clinton, and after the latest, Congress hearings, the FBI, the top levels of the FBI, completely corrupted to the bones, breaking, rules and laws and regulations that any one of us would have paid dearly. And all we see now, 2 years and more into this presidency, we see Hillary Clinton running free like a chicken, free-range chicken, and then we have still people being prosecuted and persecuted completely with No reason. This is just like an act of intimidation, like a couple of days ago, like today, for example, this morning early when the show was recorded, this Mr. Roger Stone, whatever is his name, this close advisor of President Trump. So if not even President Trump can prosecute and bring some justice, what we're facing here, what do you think? I think we're already under a coup. What is your opinion about this?
I totally agree. Well, actually, one of the most important things about what happened, this is a Friday, okay? The claim is that supposedly they knew there was a lot of court activity, especially amongst the grand jury in the District of Criminals here over yesterday into today. Actually, yesterday mostly because they went to Roger Stone's house at 5 o'clock in the morning. Guys, that's all. These are police state tactics in a situation where you're dealing with what is basically a higher thinker, a person who is kind of like in he's in the brain trust. He's mild spoken. He's very succinct. He is always very specific about what he said. If you go watch anything about Roger Stone, go watch anything that you can find. You won't see him. He doesn't shout. He doesn't get very excited, which frustrates some people, and even some of us are like, you should get more excited. Well, he doesn't. He very much is like a Ron Paul kind of person in the way that he thinks and the way that he functions. But when you see a police state action like you saw this morning on a Friday, the purpose behind that was not so much to scare Mr. Stone. It was to terrorize you, me, and everybody else in America with a police state run by a foreign power.
Yes.
It is obvious that the FBI is no longer run by it's not American anything. It is being run by the globalists / internationalists. It is working separate from the executive branch, which it is a part of. Let's help everybody understand something real quick here. There are 3 branches to the U.S. government. There is the judicial, which, by the way, we've got Ginsburg, who has disappeared from the scopes. I think we're having weekend at Ginsburg's right now. I think her corpse is being floated around so they don't have to admit that she's dead.
Yeah.
Okay, remember Weekend at Bernie's? Just replace it with Ginsburg's corpse, and it's the same routine.
Yeah.
We've got the congressional, which has acted since, like you said, Luca, in the last 25 days, we have seen so many obscene and contrary actions taking place within only 25 days. This is the 25th day that we're talking right now. This is the 25th day of January, people. The first day of January, the Republicans came to the floor of the Senate that everybody was bragging, well, at least the Republicans control the Senate. The Republicans came in and proposed 3 gun confiscation bills in the Senate.
Yeah.
The Republicans.
Yes. Yes.
Now, people, that's the writing on the wall just right there. That what it comes down to is the jig is up. They can't stretch the rubber band anymore. But this action this morning, the people that are all involved in this action are supposed to be under the executive branch.
Exactly.
And the executive branch's manager is the President of the United States.
Exactly. I mean, this is what do you think? What's happening? I have a question for you. You think Trump at this point is just a puppet that he realizes that he has no power even to control the executive branch, or maybe at this point it's just part of the plan? I want your opinion.
It's more like, you think about it this way. We experienced this when the Nixon scenario played out, in that there were power factions, many different power factions siding one with the other. And right now, we have the FBI, which is a rogue rogue is not even correct, an alien element separate from the American people that right now is working for foreign powers and for the foreign bankers, separate from those people that it's supposed to be answering to. The FBI is under the executive branch. For anybody who wonders how our form of government works, I want you just to go to the Federal Register. You can go to any number, or hell, the body of the law of this nation. There is a foldout in the Federal Register that explains to you where all these alphabet soup agencies operate. All that Congress does is regulate the money and, of course, dictate. It sets up the rules, and then everybody has to follow by that 3-ring binder set of rules for each of the agencies that exist or departments that exist. The judicial is supposed to rule. It's broadened its ability, which is intentional. It virtually is ruling from the bench where it should not now in terms of its governing from the bench. And they chuckle and laugh about their illegitimacy while they're doing that. And they've done it. You can watch videos where they've discussed this. But with the executive, the most crucial part about this is the manager has not been able to manage. Now, I will say this, Mr. Trump, either by intent or stupidity, you tell me, he's done more to fire the people and get rid of the people who were originally completely behind him, and he has not properly supported them, and he brought in people right from the get-go who we absolutely know were with the New World Order, who were enemies of everything that he claimed he was for.
Can you mention some names, Mark, a couple names of people that you think they were somehow pro-America, and people that you think he brought in that somehow we know very well that they are completely, like, when he talks to Kissinger, I always freak out. Give me a couple names.
An example here is, well, probably the best example still is just what's happening now with Roger Stone, but almost every person that they've bumped out, with the exception, I would say, of maybe Mattis. And Mattis may have been bumped out for a very interesting reason because of the debate about what they're going to do in the Middle East, not so much what they were going to do here. But Mattis was obviously, by choice, the generals that were chosen for the administrative positions were chosen to put muscle behind Trump as opposed to, say, with the globalist faction. Whether or not that's true, I would say that if Mattis was kicked out, he probably leaned more towards actually being with Trump than being against Trump, because the ones that are left in there sure as hell aren't loyal to Trump. Okay, if you look at their historical backgrounds, the one Mattis was from the military branch of the bureaucracy of government. Okay,
yeah.
The person that brought him into the bureaucracy end was Donald Trump, which means that Mattis was beholden, or should have been beholden, to Donald Trump for the position that he gave him. In other words, a very critical jump from just being a bought and paid for soldier, which is what happens, that's what you are, to all of a sudden being within the royalty end or the administrative end under the modern government that we have. So instead, for whatever reason, Trump was convinced to, or Trump chose to jettison him. Now, most every person that has been pushed from the regime, some of them have gotten bitter, and they certainly have their own egos. But if you look at the group that brought Trump into power, the ones that were supposed to be independent and there should have been more of them hired. Okay, let me put it this way: Roger Stone should have been in the administration of Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
If you look, even if you don't like Alex Jones, it doesn't make any difference. If you don't like other patriot broadcasters, or even people who are just information broadcasters, the fact of the matter is this: Roger Stone never changed his direction with regard to his support for Donald Trump. He won't correct it. He will say that there are mistakes that he may have made.
Yeah.
He should have done differently. But you've got a person who was a complete compatriot who should have been in the administration, and for whatever reason, because of whoever had Trump's ear or whatever Trump's real agenda is, Mr. Stone was excluded. And here's an example of a failing that became part of the compounded failing of the last 2 years.
Mark, you know what
I mean?
You know what I'm... Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, finish, please.
Well, I would say this, we had this conversation when we were on the air before. If I was going in as president, would I hire my enemy, or would I be looking for people who were from outside the circle?
I agree with you. I agree with you, and there is a point. I really want to. Sometimes I'm still in doubt, because I look at facts. I look at facts that so far not what they talk, what they say, but what they do. 2 years with the Republican Congress, we've done nothing pretty much. We just increased our debt and all these things now that we're fighting over, like the wall. They should have done that.
Sorry, go ahead.
They should have done that 2 years ago when we had the opportunity to do it. Or even minor things that they're not minor. This concealed carry permit for 50 states, all the different type of legislations, pro-guns, nothing was done. Now, all we did was pretty much try to delay maybe some pain. And of course now we have a president that is trying to play the card that is by himself. And maybe it was by himself before too, but for sure Congress, now we know very well that they're going to try to unleash hell. Now my question is, President Trump, he had a chance to do some things, but so far all we know that he's done one thing on my books. Number one, when it comes down to gun registration, gun control, he did more gun control than Obama. That's a fact. With the bump fire stock, I don't care people say it's just a toy or it's just something for recreational. That's a clear, very violation of our Constitution, even the fact that the presidency should not pass laws. And more important, at that point, you open the something that is completely unconstitutional. You don't even pay us. You try to confiscate or destroy and steal our property without compensation, without due process. And more important now, next president can say, guess what? Forget about the bump fire stock. I think 20 rounds magazine is too much. I say, after all, that's not necessary. They can do an executive order. So I'm very concerned about what he did there. But more important now, I look at President Trump putting the new Attorney General that is another scumbag. I mean, this guy was as corrupted as the other one we had before, and he's doing nothing but just continuing this sort of purge. Because even he could have a chance to somehow bring some justice, or at least try to some real investigation about the FBI corrupted ranks and Hillary Clinton. Go ahead, please.
Well, every point you're bringing up is overlapping and compounds this, the where we are with the second 2 years of just the first term. There is nothing but downhill from this point. There is nothing from, you had the House, you had the Senate, you had the presidency. Now, here's the thing. Donald Trump has been in business. He knows that you buy and you bribe to get votes. He worked in New York. In New York, you don't build a building without brown envelopes and bribery. Okay, I'm going to tell you flat out. That's the criminal combine that is the construction business in New York. Okay,
it's everywhere.
So you also know that when you go into the Congress, you have to buy votes with negotiation, and it's not hard to do because a lot of characters will be happy just if you stuff their district with at least a few contracts for something, and that's what the whole debate is about how they do the spending bills. So my problem with this is he knew that going in. And none of it happened the way it should have, and he had sufficient majority so that you don't have to buy all of your enemy. You only have to buy 10 prostitutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, you only have to buy 6 prostitutes here or 10 prostitutes there, and you get what you want. And he didn't get any of it, and that demonstrates failure, not success. Okay? Now, for whatever reason, part of this is because of the management style that some of these people have, and he's no different. The objective is to assign, but the only way that's going to work if you assign it to someone is the person has to be on the same song sheet as you from the beginning, but you're hiring people who are from the enemy's camp who aren't even singing your song.
Yeah. Oh, this is really,
you see? There's the problem.
Could be maybe just as incompetent, maybe doesn't know really who these people are. You think maybe just going to try to compromise.
Right, and now the problem we have, like you said, here's the one thing about the bump stocks for all of your listeners. Guys, the bump stocks were not an NFA item to begin with. In the past, they've taken guns with serial numbers and they've told people that, well, your gun's illegal now. Well, they can kind of color that because they do have a serial number to go by. Here's what's so significant about what they just did. There's more than 500,000 people with the bump stocks out there, and I like I said, hit them once, don't spray and pray for another 499 rounds.
Yeah.
Hit them hard 2-3 times, one after another, and you don't have to talk to them again, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not stupid. I don't care what it is. I love everything guns. I don't care if you like a muzzleloader and I like a Remington 1100. I love your muzzleloader, and I love the 1100, and I love anybody, whatever firearm you got. Here's what I've realized a long time ago. If you got a firearm, you're a lot more oriented towards my thought line than my enemy who wants to steal all of your guns, okay? And all the gun people should know this, but they've always been able to find some idiot who thinks they can make a deal.
Yeah.
And that's what the NRA did to us, okay?
Yeah.
But that's because the NRA, they're not idiots. They planned this, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Now, the thing about the bump stock is there's no serial number, so how are they supposed to confiscate them? Now, understand that the ATF was given an edict. That edict is that they are to ban and then find the bump stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, there are no serial numbers, so there is no registration system for them, and nobody's turning them in, which is smart, because if you turn them in, if you turned a bump stock in, it's like if you find your grandpa had a Thompson machine gun and you didn't know if it was registered, so you call the ATF. I'm going to tell you what happens if you call the ATF. They will come to your home home, they will raid your home, they will rape your property, they will kill your family, they will kill the cats and dogs if they can, but they will do everything other than anything sensible with regard to your grandpa's Thompson submachine gun. You are better off knowing that it should go back into the basement, cosmolined up, or take it to another place. Don't show it to a friend. And the same is true with the bump stock, because if you come in with a bump stock, they get to determine that you have a criminal device in your hands, and then they grab you, and then they go to your home, and they ransack your home, and they take your guns and your ammunition and anything else you've got, and you will never get it back.
You know, Michael,
because they've made a piece of plastic that has no serial number. They've now declared it a machine gun, that is an NFA weapon unto itself.
You know, Michael,
and by doing that, everything you own is forfeit.
Exactly. Well, for me, also, now what I'm thinking is this is to create a precedent. Unfortunately, what is really scary here, it is like, preparing for the next stage. Because at this point, if people say, okay, after all, they find an excuse. After all, it's Trump. Oh, he must know what he's doing. It must be one of these moves. And more important, it's just some sort of a toy. They don't understand that, first of all, we got to look back at the basic foundation of the system. Presidents should not pass edicts, as you said. Supposed to be Congress, even if they are unconstitutional, at least try to pass a law through Congress. More important, you cannot make retroactively something illegal after I paid. If you really want it, you gotta pay me, first of all. And I wouldn't give it to you, but at least you need to show some little bit of fairness here. They don't even want to pay you back. They just want it destroyed or give it back to them, or give it to them for free. That's completely out of their mind. But more important, what I really am concerned now, if the American people would somehow we would say, okay, it's just a bonfire stock. In the next 2 years, with the next president, all he has to do is say, you know what, we don't need any semi-automatic, or we don't need any 30 rounds magazine. After all, Trump did it before, I can do it now. And it's a layer, they try to cream the top, try to remove like the cream, one layer at a time. Probably the people that are going to say, you know what, I just go hunt, I don't need this, and they're going to comply. And then slowly, who is left, they will go hard, like they did probably, today with Mr. Oliver Stone, just to show who is boss, just to show that nobody, not even people close to the president, are untouchable, or at least have a chance to, have a due process for real, because that's what they've done today. For me was kind of almost a kidnapping, a legalized kidnapping, what they've done this morning. So what do you think, Mark? Maybe this is just a preparation for what's coming in the next few months.
I think that they're in motion for this year.
Yeah.
And I will say that because, again, the Roger Stone thing to me, I don't believe that they can afford to wait any longer. I believe that the only reason that we got Trump was an 11th hour. It was 11 o'clock at night on election night. They heard all the conversations, everybody saying we're going to be in a civil war by the 1st of January. Everybody heard that. The secret police were listening. And I believe that the powers that be shifted the numbers enough because, to bump everything the other way, because they could not and they cannot handle the American people going after them. And everybody agreed, every firearms owner. Now, Obama tried to get the gun ban passed, but here's a little secret. What he did, he had a federal case going in the territories, and basically it would have been the same thing that Trump did with the bump stock, with the way that the fool did what he did. Okay, The fool is in Trump doing this executive. Basically, he told the ATF with his executive authority to change a ruling. Now, Obama had a federal case for confiscation going on in the federal court of Guam.
Wow.
Now, understand that Guam is under federal control, guys, because it's a territory. Guam is not a state. The laws do not pertain the same way, and because it was in a federal court, it stepped past all of the lower courts and would have gone into a high court decision immediately. Everybody check the laws. That's why he kept saying, "Oh, don't worry, we got something on the side." You notice he kept hinting at that. We got something on the side.
Yeah.
We got something on the side.
Yeah.
What he didn't expect is that there was a woman who was a federal judge in Guam who was hearing the case.
Uh-huh.
She overturned them. She kicked them out on their ear, infuriating Obama and the ring knockers. But literally, a woman in Guam who is a federal judge is the one who stopped them from circumventing the Second Amendment under Obama, and most people don't realize that.
I have no idea about the story with Gum. You just told me.
A woman stepped up to the plate and beat him down.
Wow, amazing. All I'm concerned right now, I'm still trying to figure it out. After all, if really, truly Trump, let's say for a moment, let's try to, visualize. Let's say he really is alone against everybody. He realized that probably made mistakes. He was trying to compromise, and he's surrounded, like Reagan was, by pretty much everybody of the CFR and the globalists around, okay? That's the reality. Now, still, he knows that when he's going down, step down, maybe in the next 2 years, if he doesn't make it again, he's going to have probably even more trouble to face, because right now, as a president, yes, they can knock him out, like they did with Kennedy, but still has some sort of authority on paper that you could use to defend himself, and if he really was truly try to take this country back, he could have a chance. He could say, hey, every military person who want to fulfill their oath, even if you are no more in service, every American who took an oath to defend this republic, this is time to fulfill your oath. Right now, I need your help. I'm alone. I'm surrounded. And there is no more justice. The system is corrupted. I think he could have a chance. At this point, truly, what I see from outside, they put him as a hate, as a campaign hate against him, his family, to a level that it's almost hard to believe it's just part of this sort of a charade. Because what is really lost, he lost a face. He can't go even anymore around. I mean, the media completely ganging around him. Around the world, the globalists, they completely created this sort of a propaganda. So I don't understand how it's possible that can be part of this plan, at the same time is being used completely like a punching bag. And but at the same time, he doesn't do anything. Because forget about Congress. Even now with the wall, I say, you know what? He has executive powers now to create this emergency and say, you know what? I need to do the wall. $5 billion, I can find them if I want to. But he's not doing it. What do you think, really? Is truly just an idiot, or maybe just afraid, or maybe it's part of the plan?
Well, we're at the point in the second year where, first of all, as we've said, the controlled media, everybody in the controlled media is against Trump. It wouldn't make any difference whoever it was. If there was a Republican/Republican of any kind in there, they would be against him automatically, because that's the agenda. We have one fake news service, which is Fox, F-A-U-X, or F-O-X, take your pick. They will cover so much to be the only, think about it, you only got one network versus everything else in the controlled press that in any way, shape, or form offers anything pro-Trump. And then you've got the independent press, and that's up and down. But at least they talk about the idea that, well, Trump is fighting some kind of battle. Now, the big thing here is, again, he's like Nixon in the middle of the fight that Nixon was in. The only difference is that they haven't done away with the vice president the way they've started harping on Pence the beginning of this week. I pointed that out on Monday. Mm-hmm. They started harping on Pence, okay?
Yeah. Before
they got rid of Nixon, they got rid of Spiro T. Agnew, okay? They started doing to Spiro T. Agnew what you see him doing to Donald Trump right now. When they were done, they literally, in Agnew's own book, he says in Chapter 3 that Henry Kissinger and Alexander Haig came up to Spiro T. Agnew. This is his autobiography. He said, they came up to me and said if I did not resign, they would have me killed.
Wow.
Oh, now, he said this as vice president, okay? And this is in his own autobiography. It's the autobiography of Spiro T. Agnew, guys. Yeah, I've got a copy. I've got one of the first editions. I think there's only 2 printings. Wow. But here's a man who's vice president who's telling everybody something in a book, and they completely ignored it for obvious reasons.
Wow.
Now, Pence is a different element out there separate from Trump, number one. They are 2 different elements, 2 different factions of what is a more independent group. But Pence is tied into the globalists. However, that's not the person who tried to leave the country with all of her family and with about 8 or 9 other cronies, which is what Pelosi tried to do here this last week. Now, if you think about it, something that we discussed is if the Speaker of the House will be at the State of the Union address no matter what, guys. When you see all the presidents up there at the State of the Union, who sits behind the president?
Yeah, the Speaker. The Vice President.
You've got the whip, and the Speaker, and you've got the Vice President. Why? Because the Vice President presides over the Senate.
Yeah.
And the Speaker presides over the House.
Yeah.
And if you look, you will never find a time when the Speaker of the House is not behind the President of the State of the Union address. But their plan was for her to not be there.
Yeah.
I'd say somebody better ask some significant questions about this coup in motion and what they had planned.
Yeah.
And
by
my
the way,
argument is that, it's funny, there's...
Mark, tell me about that trailer that you sent me. I was going to watch it on YouTube. That's disturbing. I think it was on CBS News or whatever channel was that sound of a pilot movie, TV series.
Oh, which one? I'm sorry, forgive me again?
Yeah, there is a pilot TV series that you sent me. I'm going to watch it this weekend about this.
Oh, yes. It's called Designated Survivor. Yes, Designated Survivor. Guys, if you watch it, remember, the enemy always kind of, they always flash you. It's like they tell you what they're going to do. The lone gunman, the first episode was what?
9/11.
A ram attack on the World Trade Center. Anybody remember that?
Yep.
Now, the control media saw that, and they all made it disappear.
Yep.
Now, this designated survivor scam, what they did is everybody is killed at a State of the Union address. Now, what's bizarre, guys, is think about this. She was going to leave, not on an old military flight or a C-130.
Mm-hmm.
She was leaving with an entire entourage, including most of her grandkids and children.
Wow.
And they were going to take a government 757 out of the country at a time when the Speaker of the House is supposed to be there in the House and the Senate for that, for the State of the Union address.
Wow.
Nobody's done this. Nobody has done this ever. So you got to ask yourself, what was the plan? What is it that they were thinking about? Obviously, this was some way to try and piss in the face of the regime. But you got to remember, if you take the pieces and put them together, it demonstrates that we are in an internal bureaucratic civil war.
Yeah. No.
There are people aligned with Trump. There are other people aligned with the New World Order clique.
Yeah.
I don't call them the deep state because there ain't nothing changed.
Yeah.
This is the New World Order clique. These are the people that we have always known about.
Yeah.
You want to know what they're doing? They did a product name change. Calling it the deep state is supposed to make you and me feel terrified.
Yeah.
When in reality, well, no, it's the New World Order. Luca, you know about the New World Order.
Yeah. And
I know about the New World Order.
Tell me, Mark.
So
you think
they're not
maybe
hidden to us?
Trump maybe truly? I mean, I wish that even with his own mistakes, he truly tried to somehow stand against the globalists. I mean, even sometimes I realize that he's surrounding himself. I still want to think all this evidence that we have. The struggle between him and most of Republicans too, of course. But of course, people like the Pelosi, and maybe there is a coup. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all that, as you said, this sort of TV series, they're just another way to tell us that's what's coming. Like they did America with a K during the 80s, disturbing. I really believe truly that was a blueprint, and it's still a blueprint on CBS News. I mean, the point is, still, if you were Trump at this point, what you gonna lose? I mean, what you have to lose? Would you just go out to the public, to the American people, say, you know what, I may be killed tomorrow, now it's up to you, former military or military people, or any American person who believes in the Constitution in this republic, to take our country back. I need your help. Come, help us. We need to start it. Because at this point, and all the soldiers that they are really in service right now, they need to make a choice to serve the republic or completely obey to the New World Order. But I don't think he's going to have any chance after this presidency is over. The time is running fast. In the next 2 years, he's going to be gone probably. So why you don't think he's doing something like that right now?
The next 2 years he'll be spinning his wheel.
Yeah. So what he's going to do? I mean, he's going to be back to a regular private citizen. It's going to be hell for him.
Well, one of the things that happened, Nixon, when I came into service and I went into intelligence, one of the things I kept running into was a conversation about how close we had been in a civil war in the early 70s. And, I was young and wasn't knowledgeable, so I shut up and listen, and the more you listen, and I'm sitting here with major generals and senators and congressmen talking about about how close we came and who was on what side in what would have been a civil war in the United States in 1973, okay? And it's like, I'm going, myself personally, I'm going, what? But my dad taught me to just shut up and listen, okay?
Yeah.
And the more that I found out, the more the more I've put together in the pieces of the puzzle, because eventually I got into some really interesting work and did some, they were interesting jobs in the Department of Defense, guys in the Army, okay? But with all the other pieces we've put together, I think we're in the same situation right now where people don't really understand. Trump would have to step up, first of all, and get in front of the microphone, and I'll tell you what would happen. They'd cut him off.
Yeah.
Now, most people don't remember this, but Ronald Reagan, they did that to Ronald Reagan after the assassination attempt.
Wow.
Most people, if you weren't around, when
here.
Reagan was president and recovering, they would only let one network cover him, so they'd only have to shut one network down.
Wow.
They wouldn't play any presidential speech on all of the networks. When Nixon was being attacked, they all were rabidly attacking him the way they're doing Trump right now. They didn't do this with a Clinton. They didn't do this with a Carter.
Yeah.
They didn't do this even with a George Herbert Walker Bush, and he was a rabid monster. They liked the George Herbert Walker Bush guys.
Yeah. No, I believe
Think about it. George Herbert Walker Bush, if you want to talk about hardcore conservative, and as far as if he claimed to be, he should have been attacked just like Trump. But you know what? They didn't attack him like Trump.
And we see it now. It was just a charade. I mean, they're having breakfast together with the Obamas. I mean, they're all friends. They're hugging each other and, exchanging pills. I mean, this is so on the open more than ever, especially after the election. So that's why I say, I want to believe that somehow Trump, even with his own imperfections, truly is against the New World Order, and maybe he's realizing, hey, you're just pretty much alone. We can cut you off, we can kill your wife, we can kill your son. I wouldn't be surprised they told them all this stuff, and you got to play a game. And maybe he's freaking out. Maybe he's doing what he can. I don't know. But he knows very well, in 2 years from now, when he's gone, he doesn't have any more the authority on paper.
He could be gone, and he could be gone. Yeah, in the next 2 years he could be gone. One of the most important things is, like we said, he came in with his own people. Remember when he first came in, he still had his own security tied into his defense. Remember?
Yeah. Yes.
Now that was smart, and I agreed with that. But you know what? Eventually he listened to the siren song, or he didn't care because it was part of the plan.
Yeah.
He eventually kicked his own security out, where he should have kept them in. I would never have let them go.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't trust the Secret Service any farther you can throw them because, again, they're not working for you. They're working for the bureaucry. And in fact, all these agencies are telling you the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
So the bottom line is, well, look what the FBI is doing right now. Okay, guys, the FBI, go look at the bureaucracy of this government. The FBI is supposed to be working under the orders and aegis of the President of the United States.
It's not. They're not. We know that.
It's under the executive. And yet, what we're seeing is, at least, big elements of it, doesn't mean every man or every swing and dink in there is doing that, but the characters that are in the key positions were put in there by the communists over the last 30 years, and those are the characters that are trying to make sure that the walk of international communism continues across America.
Exactly.
So that's really where the fight is. Now, I still believe there's more than two power factions fighting here. We're a separate power faction. The Patriot movement is a separate element unto itself. Let's understand that. We have a very different look on everything. We actually step back and look at the big picture more so than maybe the rank and file who will just, follow orders. And because of that, we're also an element that they consider a great threat. Because when they try to play us, they can't. It doesn't make a difference who you are. The first thing we're going to ask is, why are you trying to get us to do something?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things they can't have if they were hoping for like the lemming or the knee-jerk effect. Now, Trump could still take control of a certain amount of communication and get the word out. But if that does happen, that's going to be piecemeal, and again, that would be the initiation of what would be internal physical hostilities where they're shooting at each other. I believe that any attempt, if that does happen, it will be somebody who's smart enough, like even Trump would be smart enough to go, oh, well, the hell with it. They're going to try and kill me anyway.
Yeah.
Piss on it. Let's go for it. I mean,
exactly. Because
I argue that that's where we need to. Well, that's where we need to be right now. We need to be ready to fight, but it's to fight for ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, if they play and plug in the police state, this country will die.
Yeah.
it will not be our country anymore.
I agree. And there's a point even for him. If he understands that it's over. In 2 years, it's over. He has the last chance in the next few months. Mark, I know you have by the way, remind everybody, please, your radio show and also how they can listen. I've been listening to you every time I can. I love your radio show. Please give me the information. I know that you have another broadcast in the next few minutes. I want to be sure you don't miss your time frame. Please go ahead, give the website of your show and the name.
Very good. Thank you, sir. We're at libertytreeradio.4mg.com. That's www.libertytreeradio.4mg.com. And we're also on themicroeffect.com in the morning from Monday through Friday. The Liberty Tree Radio is up 24/7. It's part of Patriot Broadcasting Mechanism. www.libertytreeradio.4mg.com. You can look at the schedule because I'm up 5 hours a day with the intelligence report. We have a morning, an afternoon, and then just a little bit after the afternoon, we have an evening program, which is coming up at 8 o'clock.
I don't know how you can do that.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I don't know how you can do that. You got 5 hours every day. I can barely do 1 hour a week, and sometimes I say, oh, my God, I'm running late. You're amazing, man. I mean, you've been doing that for many years. I don't know, decades, I guess, back and forth, right?
25 years.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Yeah, 25 years.
You must have colors on your tongue.
And a part of this, although, is... Now, Luke, I'm going to say something, because I believe that you truly are an American patriot.
Thank you.
I would be proud to have you standing beside me. And, in fact, you are standing beside me right now. We're a country apart, but we're not.
Yes.
And you know what, guys, for all of you listening, Luca, you stepped up and you put your money where your mouth is, and that's something that is a blessing to all of you guys out there that you need to be supporting Mr. Zanna here with regard to the arms, the coffee, and all the other good things that you do, because why am I going to spend money with an enemy when I got a friend where I can put my money?
Well, at least I appreciate...
You guys out there need to be thinking that way.
I appreciate, Mark, and also realize that really, I start to realize how the forces of, they control more than one thing. These people, they control the commerce, they control communication. I see really, if I don't diversify, this is about now survival, because people like me, I'm not the only one, I'm sure, they can start to target you. I mean, they kick me out of...
But
I tell you, I had reviews on Amazon.com for my coffee. They remove every reviews almost. They knock me down on, of course, not just me, many other gun business, of course, we got shut down on Shopify. We got a lot of things that I saw also in the searching. It's a battle, but we got to do what we can, and I appreciate your help. That's why we're trying to do here. Now they try to also intimidate us first economically. That's what they're trying to do, but hey, we're not going to stop. Mark, I really treasure you as a human being, as an American. As I said, you inspire me. If today I know half of what I know is because you started me up, and it makes you feel good about it. All these hours that you've been talking, and every time I can, I wish I had more time. I try to listen to you every time I can, especially, when I have, for me it was like an enlightenment years ago after I watched your first time American Pearl and all this information you gave, and I started to do research. You gave me the inspiration to say, I want to become an American, and more important, I want to become an American against the New World Order. That's my commitment, because before I was watching your video, I was ready to join the army when I came to this country. And then I realized, wait a second, we need army on U.S. soil. We need people, citizens, armed, with the Constitution, knowledge, and also if we have to, firearms, because the fight, unfortunately, I believe, is coming here. That's why I didn't join the army, because I thought at this point we need to be here, because they're going to send us anyway everywhere around the world. They want the soldiers out of here, and they want us pretty much take over from within. That's what they're doing. So I want to thank you, Mark, for all the inspiration, knowledge you share with me.
God bless you. Thank you, sir. And again, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you having me up. Anytime that you need me,
thank you, Mark.
We'll come for you, sir.
My best to you and your wife and your family. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. All right, let you go, Mark.
God bless.
Very good. That was Mark Koernke. As I said, the show, it's about not just sharing information, but try to inspire each other. Mark Koernke, as I said, you talk about the New World Order and about all this police state that we are facing today. Guess what? 30 years ago. And I was here in the country only 20 years ago, but the information that he shared, you may like him or not, I don't care what you think about him, but I tell you, the information that he shared, he unfortunately is true. And he was kind of prophetic. without the internet at the time, mid-'80s or whatever, there was no internet. It was all about, phone, faxes, maybe newsletter, and I don't even know how we got all this information. And he was able to put it on VHS, and people tried to share the shows and different type of, meetings. And from now, of course, the internet. Please learn more about him. And I think really he had done a lot of things for this country and around the world to try to share the dangers and the real, somehow, purpose and goals of the New World Order. All right, little break. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Do not go away.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order John luca-zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by John luca-zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we are back into the studio. I want to apologize. The quality of the audio was pretty poor. Kind of technical problem. My fault, though. I'm the only guy here behind this console. And that's the point. I'm just a guy, just a person. I made mistake. I make mistakes. I can be better, I'm sure. Many times people listen to me on the show, say, hey, Luca, please let her talk more, you guest. I am sorry. I never said that I was a pro, or I am the best. I'm just a guy. I'm trying. And the only reason why I'm trying, because I feel the responsibility to try to share this information. I may not be the best. After all, I listen to myself sometimes on the radio, say, oh my God, listen to the English, or it belongs to some sort of, I don't know, maybe kindergarten guy sometime. Yeah, I improve a lot. I talk better, but still, sometimes when I get tired and stressed out, I'm not exactly the guy you expect to be on the radio. Doesn't matter. I'm trying. Till they let me be on the radio, I'll try. And of course, I'll try to communicate this information if I have, even with the sign language. The point is, this is about death or life. This is about slavery or freedom, not just for us, but for the next generations. That's what I'm trying to say. We are facing something that is beyond some corruption. I'm telling you, I still can't get over the idea that we are living right now in a completely open, the America that we knew, it's gone. We live in an illusion the last 20, 30, 40 years that somehow we were under republic. Now we are completely under tyranny. And I'm telling you, when you see a president like President Trump, that even him, with all the powers that he's supposed to have, all he has to do is execute the orders, the laws. The executive branch is supposed to just implement the laws. He cannot even implement the laws now that he's a president, that he had already went through a couple of attorney generals to try to bring justice back to America. Till Hillary Clinton, Eric Holder, and so all the other people that we know that we've been seeing laughing at us during these congressional, investigations, and nothing's going to make matter anymore in America. And now when it's going to be gone in the next couple of years, guess what? It's over. It's over. It's over. Only God knows what's going to happen to the rest of us. That's why I really tell you, we are facing something that is a very deep Kabbalah. They want to call it deep state. I call it really, this is the New World Order. It's been around long, long time. They've been taking pretty much control of all the governments. Few people that they try to refuse to obey. Look at JF Kennedy. I mean, remember his speech about secret society? What happened to him when he was trying to take back the control of the currency of our dollar, U.S. dollar, back to our treasury, away from the private Federal Reserve? Bang, he got killed. So what we are facing, it's a complete, you can see now the display of force they have. They control the media. They can destroy anybody they want, even a little kid, like, teenager, that was there minding his business with a little MAGA hat in front of, Washington, D.C. monuments, and the media, how they completely can misreport, and make him a monster, and from the victim that he was, become now the bad guy, and put almost like a death sentence on his back. I mean, seriously. But the other thing I want to say, what we are facing here, this is not just corruption or politics that somehow out of control. This is about evil against good. I mean, let me play this one briefly. I mean, what I'm saying here, you already know what happened in New York with the latest abortion bill. Let me explain something to you. My position, very simple. Life is life. And he may not speak, or she may not speak, she may not be able to tell you what she thinks or what are the feelings, but the little human being inside that belly of the mother still has rights. I believe in life. I believe in rights, individual rights, and among those, the right of life, okay? So I feel the obligation to speak up, even for them. All I can do is speak up, at least tell you what I really think. And you don't need to agree with me or not. But when somebody now, beside the regular, we already have an abortion laws that pretty much does the opportunity to decide that a little fetus, just because cannot talk, just because somehow is trapped in the bodies of a mother, he has no right. But guess what? Strange. When you kill a pregnant woman, you can be charged with double homicide. Think about it. So anyway, I put out a message to my Facebook friends. All I wanted to say is this. You don't need to agree with me, but I don't need to be your friend. If you want to be pro-abortion on my Facebook, maybe we don't need to be friends. I may tolerate you if you just stay shut up. Simple as that. This is my page. This is my space, okay? And I tell you, I'm not going to be shy. I'm not going to be apologetic for what I believe. To think that a 9-month little baby can be killed just few seconds before murder, just few seconds before he is able to get out of the body of the mother. Are you okay with that? I don't think we are on the same page. So that's all I can say. I want to talk more about that next week, probably. That's what I'm going to do. Another thing I want to say, very important. Yes, we are now under attack on many levels. You heard about the arrest, FBI arrest for Roger Stone. I mean, there is no logic beside the logic of intimidation, of corruption, that a man with no criminal record, a man that anyway is a respectable person, it's not just somebody on the run, is a senior, by the way, not even like a young man, very mild, very moderate, somehow in his own manners, never show any type of violence or things like that, must be raided 4 o'clock in the morning by a SWAT team from the FBI. Of course, put it on video. You realize that. This is now living like right now under really a police state. The point that not even the president can control this anymore. That's really the scary thing. Not because the president is going to be some sort of, but check and balance. Think about it. The president, after all, he should control part of the government, the executive branch. So that's my point. So we are living in very interesting times. I had on my show many times targeted individuals, and I tell you, I believe it. I believe that there is a plan to somehow destroy people's life, to somehow use technology to make your life miserable. Technology is not just technology to try to get you pain to your body, or maybe just have voices in your mind, but also to create an emotional disturbances, to alterate your mood, to create disharmony within yourself or people around you. I believe it. And also, of course, you look at what they're doing with these some sort of censorship and also economic boycott. That is not even a boycott. It's completely a distraction. Look at what they've done to Alex Jones. Alex Jones, they destroy his channels, YouTube channels. That man used to make a living out of that. And he built that channel with many, many years and many, many videos, hard work. My humble things happening to me, of course, I'm just a little guy. I had a song, it's called The Line in the Sand, okay? There wasn't even the complete song, with just a little promo. I put it on YouTube. And I've been monitoring that song on YouTube, on my channel, for about probably, 2 months, 3 months. It was stuck at 666 views. Let me say again, number 666 views. Regardless what you believe or not, it's kind of a weird number, yeah, for sure. But the point is, I was sending friends to check it out. Say, hey, guys, can you please help me out to unblock the 666 views? I mean, nothing. I had 30 people going. After probably a day or two, finally, it went to maybe 10 numbers out. I truly believe that many of my songs are, or many of my tracks that I put on YouTube and many other things like Amazon, I got all my good reviews on Amazon for my Zanna coffee removed, deleted it with no reason. Same story with my songs. Some of my songs completely, they don't move. They stay there. And I see the same song, for example, Don't Tread on Us. It was posted by somebody else without using my name. And I got a report that the song was played more than 250,000 times. Yes, I got a report from YouTube. My song was played more than 250,000 times. But when it's under my name, well, strange things happen, like my channel's frozen. So I need your help. All I can say, if you're there around the world, or if you're there just listening to my show, if you think maybe I'm trying something here, I just can't do it by myself. I need your help. One thing you can do, help me out. You can go to www.zanna.us, download any of my songs, even just 99 cents helps out, seriously. More important, I authorize you, if you can, when you download a song, re-upload it on YouTube and put a video if you want to. Just put a song, put it out, and spread the message. And most of my songs, especially the political songs, have a message. They are not just for entertainment. And that's the way I want to communicate, probably the best way I can, better than my English through this microphone. All right, I appreciate your help. That's all I can say. God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. I really want to talk more about these evil doers, what they're doing at many levels, starting from the destruction of a life of an innocent, and say that that's okay. And if you don't like that, you must be a bigot. No, we are not bigots. I'm not bigot. I stand for the truth, and I stand for what I think is right. That's all I can say. Talk to you next Sunday. Ciao.
If you love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude than the animated contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsels or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains sit lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you were our countrymen. The line in the sand, you know the time is coming. The line in the sand, are you going to watch while we're fighting? The line in the sand, just tell me now where you're going to stand. How much more you gonna take it? How much more you gonna fake it? Now you decide what you'll do when they come. They'll come for you.